Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the special call meeting of the Franklin Special School District Board of Education, September 10th, 2020. Please acknowledge your attendance as I call your name. Alicia Barker.
Present.
Robert Blair.
Present.
Robin Newman.
Present.
Kevin Townsell.
Present.
Lena Bell.
Present.
And I'm Tim Stillings, and we also have Dr. David Snowden and Dr. David Esslinger joining us this evening. The agenda tonight has two items, some board member comments and then a discussion on a slate of officers for the upcoming year. First, I would like to recognize board member Kevin Townsell.
Okay, I think all we want to do is go right to it, but let me set this up first. First off, let's go ahead and make sure we have an approval of the board agenda. Tim already said those 2 points were a statement from board members and discussion of slate of officers. Can we get a motion to approve the board agenda?
Motion to approve the board agenda.
Second.
Okay, all in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
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 And it appears to be unanimous. So, Kevin, proceed.
Okay. So Tim has already explained that this is a special called meeting of the Franklin Special School District Board of Education. This Thursday, September 10th, 2020, started just after 6:30 p.m. So just want to make sure we understand why we have a special board meeting. And that is, it's a meeting in which it can be held under section 1.4 of the Franklin Special Board of Education policy under lines 13 through 18. A board shall hold such special meetings as necessary to transact the business of the board. Such meetings shall be called by the chair whenever, in the chair's judgment, the interests of the schools require it, or when requested to do so by a majority of the board. So that's why we're here today. And then we did comply with the special meeting, the notice of a special meeting that's addressed at section 1.402. In the event of a special board meeting, notice shall be provided at least 48 hours prior to the meeting and in the same manner as regular board meetings. All notices of special board meetings shall state the time, place, and purpose of the meeting. So we've complied with that. So now, getting to the first part, the statement of the board members. We understand why we're here. I'm just going to read quickly the statement that the board signed off on. When I say the board, it's all 6 members of us signed off on. Members of the Franklin Special School District community. We, the members of the Board of Education of the Franklin Special School District, are aware of a controversial posting on social media by Tim Stillings, who serves as an elected at-large member of the Board of Education. The now deleted posting does not bear any endorsement from the board and does not represent or reflect the values and beliefs of the Franklin Special School District. The members of the board, the directors of the school, the director of schools, and Mr. Stillings appreciate the many phone calls, personal remarks, and emails we have received over the past 2 days about this posting. We would agree with many others who found the posting inappropriate and offensive, and we have all expressed these sentiments to Mr. Stillings and to the director of schools. While it is posted on his personal account, there is no place in our society where comments such as those he posted, even in jest, are acceptable. As an elected public official and chairman of our school board, we hold Mr. Stillings, as well as ourselves, to a higher degree of accountability. Moving forward, the board encourages Mr. Stillings to listen, learn, and understand more about how such microaggressions can harm public trust and create divisiveness. Mr. Stillings has removed the offensive post and replaced it with an apology and a promise to speak directly to those who would like to share their thoughts with him. The Board of Education, the FSSD Board of Education, has a diverse membership from many different walks of life. Our range of voices and perspectives enable us to have meaningful conversations around difficult topics. We are also proud of the extraordinary effort it takes to be a perennial Tennessee School Boards Association Board of Distinction. A large part of that honor is derived from the many hours of professional learning in which we all participate to become better public servants. This event, while unfortunate, shines a light on the need for more conversation and growth in the areas of racial sensitivity and awareness. The board will continue to work together alongside members of our community, district staff, and students to strengthen the social, emotional influences that we can provide to all members of the Franklin Special School District family. And this was signed off on by Alicia Barker, Alina Bell, Robert Blair, Robin Newman, Kevin Townsend, and Tim Stillings. So just want to put that, we've set the stage. Now I think we would most like to hear from you, Tim, if you have a statement you'd like to make.
Sure. Fellow board members, I humbly apologize for creating this controversy, this discussion, this unnecessary distraction from the good work that we do. Last Thursday, I was sitting in a waiting room, checking email, thumbing through my now deleted personal social media page. I very hastily read one particular posting from someone I did not know as a public posting, and without pausing to consider, without thinking through what that posting was implying or any meaning that any subsequent reader might infer from it, I hit the share button. Shortly thereafter, I received a call from the central office on my cell phone telling me that someone had contacted the central office about it. I immediately pulled over off of the highway, and I very carefully reread the shared post, and frankly, I was heartbroken that I'd sent it. I immediately deleted it. I posted an apology. And I'm an individual who owns his mistakes. I make amends where needed, and I learn from those mistakes. In that apology, I invited anyone that I offended to connect with me for a more deeper conversation that might help me be more sensitive and more understanding. I wanted to hear their story. I'm very appreciative of the members of the community who reached out to me in good faith and talked with me. They shared their story of how that offensive meme spoke to them. One of the more poignant stories was from an FSSD family who adopted several biracial children, and they felt that that meme wasn't aligning them and their family. I assured them that it is my belief that all children are precious, all children are a gift from God, and that's why I serve the community in the way that I do. And I apologized for sharing a meme that would send that sort of message that they heard from that. Earlier this week, I also contacted civic and religious leaders in the African American community, and I look forward to follow-up conversations tomorrow and going forward. I want to thank my friends, family, community leaders who reached out to me this past week, offering encouragement and hope. You are the ones who know me and know that my careless resharing of this offensive post does not reflect my true beliefs or my values. I also received many private messages and emails stating there was nothing wrong with sharing that meme, and respectfully, I disagree. By no means am I a perfect person, but I own my shortcomings. I try to learn and be better, and I try not to repeat a mistake. The vision of the FSSD is excellence in teaching and learning for all, not just students, not just teachers, administration, but all. This has been a very difficult learning experience for me, and I hope I set the example going forward by serving as a teaching example. In my rush and carelessness, I reshared a public posting that was racially insensitive, and for that I deeply apologize. I'm embarrassed that I did not initially see that. I also know that no matter what words I use here to humbly apologize for what I've done, there will be, for some people, those words will never be enough. But in order for us to come together and to address issues like this in a constructive way, to work in harmony towards improvement, it takes all of us. I've enjoyed serving the families of the FSSD for the last 23 years. This district is truly, truly exemplary. And I look forward to serving going forward. Each September, the state of Tennessee requires each local Board of Education to elect new officers. And after serving as chairman for 6 years, and especially in light of this incident, I believe it's time for someone else to serve as chair. Board member development initiatives have produced 5 other board members who are qualified and capable to serve as chair of this distinguished board. And if there are any other comments that other board members would like to make here, that's what the time is for. Otherwise, we can slip into the next agenda item, but I turn it back over to the other board members for their comments or signal to me to move forward.
Alicia?
There we go. I would like to thank you, Tim, for your sincere apology. It was definitely surprising last week. However, hopefully we can all learn from this and we can all take something away from this. But I've known you for a long time, and I know that you serve with the kids in mind. You bring a lot of different good qualities to the table and for the board. And I also appreciated today you reaching out to the Tennessee State School Board Association, offering to help others and learn more in this. And I appreciate the steps that you were taking to make this right.
Thank you, Alicia.
I'd like to share something. I just want to agree with what Alicia said, but I also want to say that, you know, I want to stand by the statement, Kevin, you read, that we made as a board. I know we all collectively gave input to that. We all believe that. And I accept and appreciate Tim's apology. I know it was sincere. I agree with Tim that some people will not be satisfied with an apology, but I am. I'm satisfied with an apology and a chair. I also appreciate, Tim, your willingness to not to take your name out of the hat for chair. I think that shows a level of maturity of how some people in the community have, and how we have seen this, what's happened last week, that although we value you as chair, I think it is good timing to have someone else step up as chair. Also, this is a great opportunity for us as a board to do professional development and learning, not something we were planning on doing, but in these areas of maybe unconscious bias or racial issues, we have some avenues in our community that we can reach out to as a board. And I hope we will do that. And we can all learn from this, work even better together as a board to serve all of our kids.
Thank you, Robin.
Lena?
I concur with my fellow board members. Tim, I thank you for acknowledging your error in judgment. And I also want to thank the community for responding so quickly and for holding us accountable. We have been School Board of the Year before, and we hold ourselves to a higher standard of living as well as of governance. And we are a model for many other boards to follow. So I'm very grateful for accountability and for transparency. And Robin, thank you for mentioning the professional development, because I do concur that we can focus on some additional areas to build, not just in racial relations, but also in just upholding a culture of respect. There's some great books out there that maybe we as a board can also look at. I know Dr. Snowden and his leadership team have done book studies before, and I remember a couple that I did when I first came on in 2013, and I welcome that if that's something the board does decide. I think that would be very helpful. We could even encourage the rest of the community to come alongside of us and read it as well, and gather feedback. So thank you again.
Kevin. Tim, I appreciate your friendship, and I appreciate you as a board member as well. And I think we all as a board and friends will learn from this and will be better going forward. And I look forward to whatever that is.
Okay, I think everyone's had an opportunity to say something. I will say this, I would like us to go to the second part of this discussion. And even though I am doing a lot of talking today, I want to be clear that I enjoy my role as secretary. I have no desire or time to be chair or vice chair. I'm a helicopter dad who will be going to see my daughter cheer here as soon as we get through, and up and down the Interstate I-40, watch my son, who's a college athlete, college soccer player. My name is not in the hat. This is not me pushing this today. It had nothing to do with me trying to move up the ladder. So as we decide on the slate of officers, I just want you to know, I hope you guys will consider me as a slate to continue as secretary. I'm not trying to do anything different. So if we're through with this initial part, does someone want, and by the way, as we discuss this next part, all we can do is discuss. This is not the time that we will vote on the slate of officers. This is not the time that we will do that. That's going to be at our next meeting, which is this Monday. We'll vote on officers. But if you want to discuss any thoughts about who should do what, this will be the time to discuss it only.
I
Good
do
point. Good points, Kevin.
have one thing before we move to that. How do we best proceed in looking for options for growth for us as a board in this area? We could possibly investigate what TSBA has to offer in SBA, or as Alina said, a book study. I believe someone's even contacted the board to offer to come speak to us. So how do we go about investigating the options for us as a board to grow?
I'll just say that I did reach out to the one woman who contacted us, who's done some of this for different big companies. You guys all got her email. I think it was Sharon Ball was her name. I can't remember her last name. I have not heard back from her yet, but I'm wondering if we could pull some options and then at one of our meetings decide how we could best go on with professional learning. I'm not sure. That's just my thought, at least with the resources in the community. I really appreciated that email we received. I think you guys all know which one I'm talking about. It was really positive, and it was offering different services. If we think that's what we would need, I can follow up with her and get it to whoever our new chair is.
Yeah, may I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
With the new chair and the new executive committee, Dr. Snowden and the new chair, I would suggest that initially those two get together and maybe chart a course to take, and then at a board meeting or a work session, come back with several ideas and perhaps some materials for the board to look at. But initially, the new board chair and the director as the executive committee, let's let them talk and see what they can come to the board with.
That sounds great. I'm good with that. I just want to make sure we're not just mentioning it and then moving on. I want to make sure we're really looking into options. Thank you.
I also want to mention one thing for those who will participate in the slate of officers. There is some TSBA training that is coming up that we'll want to exercise. One is on board chair responsibility. The board chair or vice chair would possibly want to participate in that. And Carol's the person that we can follow up with.
Well, I'd like there to be some discussion on who that board chair should be. I can start it off. I think that we've got, as it was stated earlier, a lot of people who are giving a lot of time to the school board, and a lot of people who are level 5 board members. And we have a level 5 assistant chair right now, and Robert Blair. So I would think that he would be a good choice to be our chair going forward. So again, this isn't where Robert says, yes, I accept. It's not what this is about. It's about, does anyone else have any other thoughts as to who
Robert and I have worked as chair and vice chair for a long time, and then as seat mates for quite a while. And I think Robert would be an excellent board chair, and I would be happy to support him if that's what the slate of officers produces.
Robert also has great board chair experience from being out in the nonprofit world. And I know that will be something that it will be a seamless adjustment for him if that is something that he is interested in. And also, I know that he has, I think, 16 years, Robert, of experience there too. So.
Right.
Any other thoughts from anybody?
Robert, are you good with that?
Well, he's not going to really tell us that right now.
Oh yeah, sorry, you just said that.
And if elected, he would be the graduate of the FSSD serving as board chair. Correct, Robert?
Be correct.
Well, just to know this, Alina and Kevin, you guys are currently officers. Do you want to keep those roles? Maybe, like, I know you can't say yes for sure, but are you interested in staying on as officers in your current roles?
Try to see how I can answer that without being.
You'd be willing if nominated, possibly? I don't know.
I think I would be a great candidate to continue in my role as secretary. Okay. And by the way, I said Robert's title incorrectly. It's not assistant. He's currently the vice chair, so I recommend him for chair. So to answer your question, Robin, again, you've heard my statement. Alina, do you have a statement?
Yes, I will be happy to. And I know that there are some others that have some more seniority. So if they're so inclined to participate in the other roles, I'm happy to see them do that.
Okay.
So that leaves vice chair. We haven't made any discussion about that. Any discussion from anybody?
I mean, I think Alicia and I are both willing, right, Alicia, if we were nominated. I think it would be good for Robert, if he's nominated, to think about what he wants in a vice chair and maybe think about what would be best. Alicia's level 5. I'm level 4, but I think both of us are willing, so.
We are.
Yeah. I don't think we've decided yet.
Well, good. You're not supposed to decide yet.
Yeah, good.
We're just having a good discussion. Okay, I think if there's anything else for the good, we need to stick only to those discussion points, but is there anything else anyone needs to say about either about the slate of officers? Just realize we need to be prepared to vote on it this Monday at our next meeting.
And of course,
Dr.
when we vote in a regular meeting, we can deliberate and discuss in more detail and be a little more forthcoming, maybe with some desires to serve. So I think Monday night we can have an expanded discussion on this too.
And just so everyone knows too, we possibly could deliberate today. I don't think that's what we should do. I think the bylaws are clear, or the online manual is clear that we would vote on it this next meeting. So that's why I'm being so careful. I don't think anything we've said tonight violates anything, but I just want to be clear that we'll totally have the real vote. And just as was said, a discussion on who people can speak more freely at that time.
Kevin, thank you for leading these, the two agenda items. I appreciate your leadership on the board. Thank you. Does anybody else have any announcements that we need to cover tonight? If not, then we are adjourned. Thank you very much. I appreciate
I
it.
want to thank everybody for
Thank
this.
you.